Hello viewers, well the London Toy Fair is taking place this week. I popped along to the London's Olympia building, haven't been here for many years. This is where the major game shows used to happen years ago, so just taking a little view and a trip down memory lane if you like. There is sort of an atmosphere to this building that's fantastic, but of course I'm looking at some of the relevant toys. I'm too old for these toys, of course, but I just wanted to show you some of the stuff here. And of course, where do you start with racing stuff at a toy show? Well, Scalextric. I used to have one of these when I was younger. I had a mini Metro. Just looking at some of the different stylings and details they've got now, new sort of anime ranges on the cars and stuff like that, keeping it all nice and current. They had this really nice layout here as well, and I had one of the chaps explain to me some of the new systems that they have now. So they've got a system that calculates tyre wear, fuel usage, and alters your car's performance based on the information, as well as keeping races nice and fair. Really interesting how they put it together. There you go, the app race control power base. Scalextric has come a long way since I played it years ago, and it sort of adds a lot in terms of proceedings. So you can see one of the British touring cars, a couple of BTCC cars there, and that's the sort of set I would have been playing with when I was young. Well, actually, as I say, mini Metros was about as close as I got basically, but I also had another set which you can see other details. He's just calibrating the car at the moment. So setting that up, and then it'll automatically drive itself around the circuit. And so there are a number of different modes and options that are available with the software. We didn't have the time to go through all of it at the time, but it was pretty cool seeing how it all worked. And the layout itself was also quite tricky in terms of, we can see testing the other car as well there now. You can see it's slightly banked. That's one of the minis. I was talking about the mini Metros, so they showed me the new mini challenge. It's been replaced. And they've got a truck. For truck racing now. I've not seen these before. It's all sort of moved on a lot. There's not lots of new cars and stuff like that, but you can see one of the big trucks. I didn't get to race this, unfortunately. It'd be interesting to see how well some of them stay on the course in terms of, you know, how it is with flying off. But the detail was really nice to see. I mean, in fact, the details improved a lot. Some of the different sets that were there. Look at that one. Wow, 4 cars. That's going to be a major set, I can tell you. And we had, of course, Le Mans selections. There was lots and lots of these sort of different car packs and stuff like that. But nothing open wheel related, which was a little bit of a shame. They've very much gone now for stock cars, GT cars, stuff like that. So you can see some of the different cars, classic cars. And there are, of course, a couple of these as well. These were the only sort of closest you get to open wheel. There's nothing sort of from the Formula 1 80s, 90s, anything like that now. Of course, Corgi comes under their banner as well, a classic brand in terms of detail and everything. And they had the James Bond range, which was really nice for collectors everywhere. You know, appreciating cars is one thing, and I've got a couple of my own cars somewhere up there, but when it comes to Formula 1 cars or historic cars, it's nice to have models of some of those. I grew up with a few of those years ago, and I had one of the Bond ones, actually, the white one there that went underwater, but that's another story. I had the helicopter that chased him as well, but anyway, that's another thing. So you can see all the some of the different sort of Corgi cars, classic models in terms of stacks of detail. Then they also had these Airfix cars as well. These are new Airfix. Airfix you always had to glue together when I was younger, but now it's basically like Lego, but not Lego. I'm very keen to point out it's not Lego, but he just broke one up there to show sort of how many pieces. Quite an intense session of car destruction going on there, just to show how many pieces make up each car. But it's pretty solid. You can play with it, and you can see one of the pieces there as well. So it's quite heavily molded, if you like, once you piece it all together. But it is not Lego, but it looks a bit like Lego. So there we are, just seeing some of the various different parts. And there are quite a range of supercars there. So it's for kids who want to build something, but don't necessarily want masses of detail, lots of glue and paint everywhere. And you see that in other models as well, as we look at the Ventador there. Very nice. And of course, a classic brand away from Scalextric is Hot Wheels, which never ceases to amaze me, the size of the brand in the US in particular. But obviously, it's part of Scalextric and always massively popular. I was looking for, of course, racing cars and other stuff that was at the show, and coming across the different replica F1 cars and the various different stands. You can see here as well as Sebastian Vettel rotating here. Lots of Ferraris, lots of stuff for all ages there. Some very nicely detailed car kits as well. Half of this you never seem to see in the stores. I guess you do in sort of niche toy stores. You can see here as well, matte black paint job, very nice. Having a look at that. Look at that. I've never seen one like that, but it's got a really sort of dark tone to it. I like that. With, you know, it really sort of highlights the car in a way, like the Devil car in Ridge Racer or something. And you can see various different cars, remote control cars as well. Having a look at those, and of course the Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton there. So remote control cars, everything cars was there. There were other cars that were available for other F1 teams, but they weren't available on the stand. Monster Energy, what have we got? We've got Valentino Rossi's bike there as well. There are other bikes available. I'm not certain which models of bikes, but either way, they you know, heavily detailed, look very nice, and it is like rubber on the wheels. It's not just plastic as well, so it's a nice feel to it. And of course, then there was the stack of remote control cars for just about every type of discipline you'd like. I always say practicality. If you've only got dirt, get a one with big wheels rather than a low sports car that's going to need a flat surface. And of course the Bugatti Veyron there as well, nicely detailed. That's about as close as many people will get to a Bugatti Veyron, I can tell you. There aren't many of them around. But with Gran Turismo coming out this year, collect the real cars as well as everything else. I couldn't help but film some Star Wars. You know, I like a bit of Star Wars. You know, I'm filming this for the kids. Yeah. So yes, lots of Star Wars toys there. Look at that amazing Star Destroyer. That's nice and big as well. The model kits years ago were quite small, even for Star Destroyers, you know. But of course we see the AT-AT, stuff like that there, with a snow speeder that just, you know. And then we have Halo, keeping it game relevant. Yeah, a bit of Halo. That man's got a leg missing. Look, poor guy, he's trying to drive with one leg. Dear oh dear, whatever happened there. But you can see the model kit. Obviously you paint it yourself, glue it all together. These are the more advanced Revel kits as well, drop ship there as well. So really nice kits for the Halo stuff. Lots of detail in these. If you start off with the very basic ones, and you saw the Millennium Falcon and the TIE Fighter, it's a level 1. It sort of clips together. You don't paint it, and then as you work your way up, you've gradually got to start painting them and gluing them, and that's where the fun is, basically. I think it's all about gluing it and painting it and everything else. So various remote control cars, obviously cars, military machinery. There was a few ships there and stuff like that. Always lots to look at. Down to, as you can see, kids stuff as well. This sort of stuff didn't exist years ago. You'll see one of the model kits later in this video that I got in 1984. It was just too complicated for me at the time. And of course various other remote control cars. Wow, there's just such a big market now. You know, drones and remote control cars were the two sort of big things at the show. And then of course, you know, I mean, I came across this Alien. This company did like Avengers, they did Alien, they did Star Wars. Extraordinary detail in the figures that they had. Love the detail. Look at that. Really nice detail on these Alien figures. You know, really cool stuff. Quite big as well, I'll point out. These were relatively large, but very highly detailed. And it was a shame I didn't get the chance to film all the other figures, because there were some very special figures there. This was a Knight Rider I got in 1984 model kit. And it was quite complex to build at the time. Had that Klingon ship as well. That came in a triple box at the time years ago with a, what was it, Bird of Prey and a Ferengi or something like that. No, it's the old ships and new ships. But we had the old Batman car, the old model kits as well. And then of course the Ayrton Senna collection was on display. And again, for Senna fans, these are really nice. These aren't kits, these obviously are just full cars, but nicely detailed. These are slightly larger ones, and they had slightly smaller ones as well. We'll see those in just a moment there as well. So you've got Ayrton Senna's various cars that he won his world championships in, or certainly the final one there, final two, first one, third one, and then you've got the other cars as well that he drove in that collection as well. Well, he had some tremendous races in there as well, so that's fantastic. And Lewis Hamilton's races, from 2015, as well as a variety of cars from the last sort of couple of years as well. So nice selection there in terms of Formula One machinery, and of course mini ones for the older cars. I do like some of the sort of 90s and 80s cars myself there. So it's nice to see. But that's it from me for now. It's time to say goodbye to Pikachu, and there'll be more from me very soon.